Helen's from Singapore. We have Steve from Cleveland. We have Kevin from Lake Worth, Florida. Okay, cool. So let's get going. So do ask your questions as we go, and we have a Q&A session at the end, so we will kind of keep the Q&As towards the end. But if there's a question that's relevant to what we're on, we'll answer it right away as well. Sounds good? Okay, first and foremost, I'd love to also know not only where you're from, but let me know about your business. So this is all about you. And what we can do is, if we know what type of business you are, so if you're in manufacturing, if you're a wholesaler, if you're retail, or if you're a combination of all of the above, that's perfect. Let us know what you are, and that way we can kind of cater the presentation to your needs. So please do let us know what type of business you are, and we will hopefully make it so that you learn something.
All right. In the meantime, we're just going to introduce ourselves real quick. So you might have met us before in a previous workshop, but if not, my name's Cassandra, and I work on our customer success team here at inFlow. So if there's anything at all you need, any questions you have, anything you need to help make inFlow more valuable to you, let me know. Little background about me, my very first job was on a receiving dock, so it's actually unloading and counting our inventory to make sure that what we received matched what we ordered. And then I also have taught Word and Excel classes at a nonprofit. So if you have inventory you need imported into inFlow, I'd be happy to help. Or you need any little workarounds, need some custom doc help, let me know. I'd be happy to help you with that.
Cool. And
oh
sorry.
I forgot I had these in here. So Matt generally shares pictures of his son, Ethan. And since I don't have a child, I always put my dog pictures in here. So this is from a calendar project that some friends of mine did of my dog, Calypso. One of my friends is a professional photographer, so we've got these great shots. And actually the one on the right is the hardest shot we did. She did not want the thermometer in her mouth. We have ones of her standing up and everything, and that one was actually the hardest to get.
And yeah, so we have, and I was going to say before too, 12,000 tickets, support tickets. That is a crazy number of support tickets. So chances are, if you have a question, Cassandra has heard it before and she can solve it. And we're going to challenge that a little bit later as well during the Q&A. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to give shout outs to the people that are on today. So for example, we have Sandy, who's Indiana Health Center's primary healthcare. That's awesome. There's a lot of inFlow customers involved with healthcare. We have a solar system installer integrator, Nicole. Jay does manufacturing of welding equipment. Mariah, an office assistant for KC Restoration that takes care of metal, stone, and wood. Karen is a nonprofit, feeds the hungry, and does 7 food pantries and hot meal program. Very cool. Karen, we've actually volunteered as a company to some food programs where we've made like super squash soup, which was really awesome to do. Amy manufactures products for chemical analysis. We have engineering, point of sale. Gregory, you say you do OEM. What does that mean? Does that mean you just you manufacture your own thing, or you put someone else's brand on it? Michelle's in distribution. Lynn's in agriculture. Excuse me. Robin does printing, screen printing of vinyl and embroidery. Helen, distribution of skincare products. Super cool. And we have Shannon, who does barcode scanner distribution.
Whoa.
Shannon, did you know that inFlow sells barcode scanners, and we are always open to more distribution? Send us an email later. We can help each other out. Okay, so a little bit about myself. I did work in a pharmaceutical company in Canada. They did natural health products, and a lot of times, like any small business, I was actually in the warehouse quite often. So I was helping the warehouse guys, or if the warehouse guys weren't there, they were sick, they were off, I was doing the pick, pack, and shipping as well. So I do have some warehouse experience. I also wrote a really cool book, Barcode Your Small Business, walks you through how to use and set up a complete barcoding system. If you want that barcode book, by the way, it sells on Amazon for like $2, $3 or so. I'm happy to send it to you guys for free if you don't already have it. So you can just shoot us an email or let me know if you want the book, and I can send you the PDF copy. It's a great book, easy read, and kind of gives you step by step on how to implement a full system. And yeah, there's some fancy stuff. If you Google me, you might find me in Forbes and Inc. and Small Business Trends. And I've been with inFlow for over 6 years, almost 7 years, doing this because I absolutely love it. Love helping small businesses and making things happen for them. And like Cassandra mentioned earlier, a year and a half ago, I still have this slide, but a year and a half ago, my wife gave birth to our beautiful son, Ethan. He was a little baby then, but you know what? He's not really a baby anymore. So just fair warning, there might be random baby pictures such as these. This is him just in the winter, and it's funny because they change so quickly. He doesn't even look like that anymore. You'll see a little bit later. He's actually grown some hair now, which is an accomplishment. So this is the 5 tips and strategies for getting organized with inFlow. Some you might already know, but we're really hoping that you learned something new today that you haven't already known. And yeah, let's get it going.
And if there's anything you came here to learn, absolutely ask your questions. We'll have a Q&A at the end too. So our first tip is to label everything. Put labels on your products. You can put barcode labels on them, price labels if you sell in a retail environment, lots of stuff you can do with them. Once you have a barcode on them, it's really easy to then scan to show inFlow that you've picked things, that you've received things, or to even just look up an item. You can scan it into the barcode field and pull up that product record and then look up what's the price or how many are we supposed to have of this thing. And we have this new integration with Dymo. We were showing you our label printers earlier. It's really easy to set up. Once you have the printer, you connect it to inFlow through this integrations page. Just kind of turn on the connection. And then once that's done, you have to make a label. So inside of Dymo's software, you would just make your label, whatever you want to put on it, a barcode. And then essentially what you do is just under the reference tab here, you would just make sure that that matches what inFlow is calling the field. So we do have a support article. If you're interested in this, we can send you with all of the labels you can use. It looks like this. You just copy and paste that in to make your label template. You only have to do this once. So just when you're initially designing your barcode label, you do this. Once you've got this done, you'll just be able to print these out in the future. So I'm just showing you how to set one up real quick that has the item name, the barcode, and then I'm going to put the price on this one as well. And then you just save that as a template, and that's basically it for making that. And then you upload that to inFlow. And then from there, inside of inFlow, you'll get a little new button. So once you have inFlow connected to your Dymo label printer, you'll have a new label button at the top of your product page. And you can just click on that to print out labels for that product. Or from your purchase order screen, you'll also have that little label button. So every time you get new product in, print out labels for everything on the order, stick them on your products before you put them away. And that way you'll be able to scan them in the future to look things up or to pick them and lots of other things too.
And
sorry. Yep, go ahead.
I was just going to say, our first question comes from Kevin. So Kevin, you have an entry into our Barcode Dymo label giveaway. And the question is, you're setting up your spreadsheets for importing into inFlow Cloud. Can they be imported by the spreadsheet or must they be scanned in? You can actually import them, no problem, with the CSV field. On the CSV, it's just a field on the product. You put in the barcode, the text or the numbers or combination thereof, and that allows it to be sent in without having to scan it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and if anyone is in the process of importing things in, Kevin, feel free to reach out to me. I do offer that as a service as well. It's free, just help you get started because I've done lots of imports, so I know everything that can go wrong and how to make sure to avoid that stuff. So let me know if you want help. For anyone who doesn't have a Dymo printer, you can also do things through Microsoft Word with just those sort of Avery label address label that you can get from any office supply store. So basically, it uses inFlow's custom document feature. And so you just kind of choose which fields you want to map out on the document, what font to use. So I used our Archon code 39 to do that barcode. So that's a free font we have. You can download it from our site. Let me know if you need that. And then basically you just upload that to inFlow. And then I uploaded it to as a purchase order document. So anytime I print a purchase order, I can print out a set of labels. So that would just print out in Word to those specific sheets. So that's an option if you don't have a Dymo printer. So let me know if you need help with that. I'd be happy to help with that too.
And just to reiterate that too, so we made that free barcode font just because when I was trying to set this up myself, I couldn't find a barcode font that was good. I mean, there's a few out there, but some of them you have to pay for, which is kind of a nuisance because, I mean, when you think fonts, you think they should be free. Some fonts also didn't write out what the barcode represented. So all you saw were the lines, which can work when you're making labels. However, you can't understand it, obviously, just by looking at it. So we set out to make a font. It took some time, but we got the font made so that not only do you see the barcode, you actually see the label that's associated with the barcode as well too. So just a small thing, and it's absolutely free. We give it away. If you just Google Archon code 3 of 9 font, it will come up.
We got a question coming in from Amy. Amy asked, can inFlow track a serial number barcoded out to client, back to us, and refurbished to send back out to client? Relatively new, so I wanted to ask. So Amy, you can make your products serialized so that you have a serial number and you know how many quantity of a product you have, but also what specific serial numbers you have in stock. So you can do that with inFlow. However, the Dymo label printing integration does not allow you to print the serial number. I recently created a workaround for Sandy, who I think is actually here today. So I'd be happy to send those instructions to you as well if you want to try printing out a serial number barcode. So if you want to reach out to me, anyone, you can reach out to me at success@inflowinventory.com. And I can give you any workarounds or any resources that we mentioned today. If you want them sent, just email me and ask.
And Alex had a question too. Are there any materials that the Dymo labels don't stick to? It's a great question. I'm sure there are things that it wouldn't stick to, but for the most part, they're pretty good. We haven't obviously tested the labels sticking to absolutely everything, but maybe if you let us know, what you're trying to stick it to, we can give you an opinion. But honestly, they're pretty good. We haven't had any issues with them. And the other interesting thing is with Dymo that the labels are obviously separate, but you can actually buy different brands of labels that fit your Dymo printer. So if you have a specific application where you need the labels might need to be waterproof, I'm not entirely sure if they have that. But definitely they have like different colors, different sizes, obviously. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So yeah, let us know what you're trying to stick it to, and I can see if I can get an answer for you.
One more question before we move on. We've got Helen asking, can inFlow track or read QR codes? Unfortunately not. Maybe let us know, Helen, if there's a specific reason you're hoping to use QR codes. For now, though, inFlow just scans those 1D barcodes, which are just sort of the lines.
Yeah, and we'll try to keep some of the questions for the Q&A as well, just so we get through all the tips. But if they're specifically related to the slide, we'll answer them. So the second strategy that you guys should do and might already be doing is making sure all your orders, no matter where they're coming from, are synced and put into inFlow. So basically all your orders into one place. Excuse me. So for example, and this is the name of the game, right? So we want inFlow to be kind of like the one central spot, the one kind of operating system for your business. So no matter if you're selling on Amazon or Shopify, or you have your own WordPress store using WooCommerce, wherever the orders are coming from, you should be able to see them right inside of inFlow. So obviously the good news is we sync with these guys, and you can actually get your orders pulled into inFlow. And it's super easy to do that. You just head on over to the web app, hit on integrations, and in this particular one, we're doing Shopify here. Put in your URL, you hit connect, and you're good to go. Is there anyone out there that's using one of the integrations right now? Are you using Shopify? Are you using Amazon, or even QuickBooks for that matter, or WooCommerce? I know WooCommerce is one of the newer ones. Let me know in the comments if you are using one of them and what you think. I'd be very curious to hear you.
Nicole's using Shopify.
Cool, very
Awesome.
cool. So, and Nicole, let me know if it was pretty easy to set up Shopify. I'd love to hear that too. So the other thing that you can do is once you have the orders, synced and coming into inFlow, you can actually choose and change the prefix of the orders, so then you know where they were generated. So, for example, all of your orders that are coming in from Shopify, you can put in like Shopify dash whatever as the order number, and then you know exactly where they're coming from. So it's super easy to see where the orders are in reports, and any way that you want to filter it out, you can do that super easily.
All right, so our next tip is to use sublocations. How many people have sublocations turned on? Let us know. Sublocations make it a lot easier to pick stock because you know exactly where you need to go in the warehouse. Easier to put things away if you have a standard place you always put them. And then also for counting stock, because you can easily count certain locations in the warehouse and not everything. So if you don't already, you can turn sublocations on under settings, and then it's under track inventory by, you just check off locations broken down into sublocations there. Oh, it's random dog photo time. So this is my dog from those same series of pictures earlier, being a lumberjack. One thing you can't tell is that we tried to put a beard on her by dyeing her fur with cold coffee. I can kind of see it a little bit, but it didn't turn out as well as we were hoping.
I'm just impressed she's holding the axe.
So she's just balanced on that axe and it's stuck into the tree there. Let us know if you like the dog photos too. So how many of you out there have a standard place where you store each item? In doing some research about inventory and what's the most effective inventory methods, one thing is your inventory is a lot more accurate if you always put things away in the same place. But then the con of that is that it's a less efficient use of space. So it's harder to kind of, as you get new products in, you might have to shift things around to make space for the new products. That can help. You can end up losing some things if you have to constantly move things around. Whereas if everything always stays in the same place, you're less likely to put things away wrong accidentally or lose things as you're moving things around. And so inFlow makes it easier to keep everything in one place by having the default sublocation set up there. So if you put in your default sublocation, it might be something like aisle/bin. If you put that in there for each product, then inFlow will try to both receive to that default sublocation and also pick from that default sublocation.
Okay, and something else that hopefully you guys are doing is setting reorder points and your last vendor as well, because that should help you to just basically not run out of stock, which obviously can be a concern when you have your inventory. Oh, and hey, like we promised, random baby photo time. Now, like you can see, this is Ethan. He has more hair now. And this was just a few weeks ago on Mother's Day. He really wanted, we went out for sushi. It's only a year and a half, and he had his fork, but he he saw us using chopsticks, and he's like, Dada, give me the chopsticks. So I'm like, all right, here's some chopsticks. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. And he literally picked up the chopsticks. I think he got lucky, like the way he's holding them, but he literally held them like that and picked up some sashimi himself with the chopsticks at a year and a half. So that's my expression there. And I'm just like, what is happening? You are not a baby anymore. This is ridiculous. But he couldn't do it again. He only got to do it once, but still that was pretty cool. So the way to set a reorder point, and you guys have hopefully I've seen this, is right on the product record. You'll see the reorder point right there. So you can see it's on the 15th. You can also set your kind of default last vendor in the last vendor field. In this case, we're using Cassandra's sample data. She runs a pretend dog distribution business for dog toys. So the dog house is the last vendor for this particular product, and it's in the Barkerton warehouse.
There's also a Woopersville warehouse.
And the other thing you can do is when you're on the vendor record, if you want to say suggest reordering for from a specific vendor, you can do that. So you look up your vendor and you hit suggest reordering, and what inFlow will do is actually suggest all the things that you're kind of low on that you might want to order from just that one particular vendor. This is in addition to being able to kind of reorder just on the product level. You can also just reorder a whole bunch of products that you're missing, but you might want to do it right down to the vendor. Another way that you can reorder stock is basically from the dashboard. So if you guys use the dashboard, let me know if you guys use the dashboard. And I see Gregory here is about the same age my son started eating sushi. That's awesome. He didn't eat the sashimi, but we haven't given him anything raw, but he does eat the little, the teriyaki and that sort of stuff. Very, very cool. So right from the dashboard, you can reorder stock. You click on the 4 products that need to be reordered, and then inFlow will bring up the reorder stock screen. And there is some math to the reorder points. So basically this is the math behind it. And yes, math has numbers. So this is how inFlow does the calculation of the what it's suggesting to reorder. So basically, the anticipated quantity is the quantity owned, so what you already have, less the quantity reserved, which are the units that are in an open sales order or an open work order, plus the quantity of units that are already on order. So that gives you the current anticipated quantity.
Yeah. So if you're wondering why isn't inFlow suggesting I reorder this thing, it might be because you already have an order into your vendor, so that might be why your current anticipated quantity is actually okay. So this is just a little background for you so you know why things will come up or won't come up when you're looking at your reorder points. All right, and our next tip and last tip is to use reports, because you don't want to miss a thing. So these are a bunch of reports that'll help you stay on the ball, keep on top of everything.
And by the way, when I first saw, because you don't want to miss a thing, the thing that was started playing in my head was I think it's Aerosmith, the Aerosmith song. I don't know if anyone else got that, but we did have a slide at one point that had the Aerosmith album on it.
So the first report I'm going to recommend is the stock reordering report. It'll make sure you don't run out of stock. So just like Matt was talking about, it'll give you a breakdown of how many you own, how many are on order. So you can basically see why inFlow is suggesting the number if you're not sure how did it arrive at that number. And then it's also a printable list if you want to refer to things that you should be reordering. We've also got the estimated inventory duration report. That's going to let you know when inFlow thinks you're going to be out of stock. And that's based on your average selling rates over a specific period. It'll give you a date it thinks you'll run out of inventory based on that. You can also do the back order report. That's going to let you know everything you still owe to your customers so that you don't miss. So as you end up getting those in from your vendors, you'll know everything that's outstanding to your customers so you can get that sent off. There's also the sales order operational report. It allows you to see everything that needs to be shipped out. So basically, as long as you set a requested ship date, if you don't know how to do that, let me know and I can show you. And that way you can filter to see everything that needs to get shipped out today or everything that needs to get shipped out this week, and just keep on top of everything that's going out. And we've also got the purchase order status report. And basically that'll tell you everything you're still waiting on from your vendor. So if you got a partial order from your vendor or it hasn't come in at all, you'll see it on this report. You'll see how many you're still expecting to be receiving. All right, and now we're gonna just show you some new features. Drum roll. So these are just some little things that have come out recently. They might have escaped your notice, but they might make life easier for you. So we're just going to run through them. And if you like any of them, give us a little ooh, in the comments. So the first one we've got here is click to enlarge pictures. So just from your product page, if you click on the picture, it'll bring up a bigger version of it. So it's helpful if you have products that look really similar, maybe some parts that are very similar except for something you can see in more detail and easily tell what you're looking at. Michelle loves that new feature.
Let's hear the ooh.
Another thing we've got is the team member tracking report. So this is only available for admins on your account, and basically just lets you know what your employees have been up to in the system. You can check on a specific employee or see everything, or if you want, you can check on a specific date range. Yes, Steve is ooh-ahing for us. Thank you, Steve. So yeah, you can see the specific date range. You can see specific team members if you want. And basically it's just a record of what they've changed in the program, what they've been working on, just to let you as the administrator kind of keep on top of what's going on in the system. We've also got the ability now in the web app. So I don't know how many of you have checked out the web app. It doesn't have as many features by far as the Windows app. But one thing you can do is add multiple pictures through the web app. So the Windows app will just show you one picture. The web app will show you can add as many as you want. And the reason why you would want to do that is because those can show up in your showroom. So if you have a showroom, you can let your customers see multiple different pictures of your product. If you just add it through the web app, it'll show up on your showroom.
And you'll see a lot more functionality coming to the web app as we go as well.
For sure, yeah. We also have, you can change orders into quotes if you made a mistake. So I make this mistake all the time where I made a sales order when I actually meant to make a quote, but that's not a problem anymore because now you can just click that copy button and then convert it to a quote. Phew, no problem.
Nicole says best fix ever. And I also want to mention, I also say, oh, sugar, when I mess something up, right? Don't we all?
Another new feature, you can see your payment dates now in your sales order list. So you can either filter to a specific payment date, or you can sort by payment dates now as well. So someone had asked us for that, and that was something that we could quick and easy provide for you. So if there is anything that would really make your life easier, if it's something small, it might be something we can do for you. So let us know.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to mention too. If you guys have feature requests, don't be shy. Let us know. Put it in the comments there because we take every request very seriously. Obviously, we can't do everything, but we try to do the best or do the most that we can that get requested the most as well. So yeah, if there's something that you'd like to see, we're more than happy to hear you out.
Yeah, and this one's for our manufacturers or for people who make kits. So basically from a component page, if you click on the bill of materials tab, you'll see a little link at the bottom of how many bill of materials use that component. And then if you click on the link, it pulls up a list of everything that uses that part. So basically lets you know all the different places in your inventory. If you've got a bunch of assemblies that use the same part, you can see that really easily.
And of course, because it wouldn't be a webinar without an exclusive offer for you guys. If you add a team member to your account, or if you're paying us monthly and you want to switch it over to annually, we'll actually give you a free barcode scanner today. So I love the annual billing also just because it's less accounting work, right? Instead of the monthly payment, you have to have that coming out of the credit card. You do it annually, it's one time, you don't have to worry about it. So if you switch to that, you simplify your accounting. Plus, we'll give you one of our awesome barcode scanners, which you can see here. So they come in a wonderful array of colors, and we may or may not have all colors in stock. But let us know if you do add a team member or you upgrade to annual billing. I will send you a barcode scanner. Regular price on it, $79.99. They might be on sale for $49.99 if you wanted to get another one. But we do usually sell them at $79.
Yeah, and if you do take us up on that, just email me at success@inflowinventory.com, and I will get you your scanner.
And Kevin gave us an ooh and an ah for the barcode scanner. That is awesome. And Shannon, like I mentioned, we sell barcode scanners, and you are a distributor, I believe. So get in touch. So it's super easy to invite a team member. All you have to do is go inside the web app or just go to inflowinventory.com, log in, and under Manage My Account, you'll see a nice invite button. Just hit that invite button. You can send an invite, say you have the front desk person needs to look up inventory. You have someone else in the warehouse. You have someone else that wants to run reports, or you want to give access even to your accountant to run reports to make accounting and taxes a lot easier to process. You can absolutely do that. You just hit the invite button and you're good to go. And of course, if you upgrade to annual billing, like I mentioned, you'll save $120 if on every essential subscription that you're on, and $240 for the advanced plan. So you save a big chunk of money, plus you get the barcode scanner in your choice of 7 different colors. And to do that, again, super simple. All you have to do is go into the Manage My Account, hit the Change button there under My Subscription, and you won't see Home is Where the Dog Is, because that's the name of Cassandra's store. But you will see Billed Annually, and you just hit the, or you'll see maybe Billed Monthly rather, and then you just hit Change, and then it'll go to, you can change it to Annually right there. And Nicole is asking, are you going to be bringing a wireless scanner to the product line? Yeah, Nicole, we are definitely looking into it. We are actually bringing a whole bunch of hardware, some really cool stuff like scanners that can be like mounted or connected to your wrist or to your hand. It sounds weird, but it actually works fairly well. The reason why we didn't go into wireless scanners right away is because you have to charge them, which can be a pain. They're very easy to lose. So in general, people did want, it sounds nice to have a wireless scanner, but people practically use typically more so a wired scanner. But obviously, people still want wireless, so it's something that we will hopefully will bring shortly to you too. So now it is time for the Q&A. So we have some questions that we didn't get to that are already all queued up, but do please ask us questions. Kevin's also voting for the wireless. That's good. That's really good to hear. So right now, from my count, there are over 20 people on the webinar live, and we only have 7 entries into the contest so far. So we have Kevin, Amy, Alex, Helen, Nicole, Michelle, and Gregory have all asked questions, and you guys have an entry to get a label printer. And I see Jay has left a comment. Lynn left a comment, and Steve gave us an ooh and an ah. But the way to get an entry is to ask a question. So this is how we're going to do it. You ask a question. It doesn't matter how many questions you ask. You only get 1 entry. But also, if you can stump Cassandra, so if you can ask her a question, and to be fair, it has to be like inFlow related, and it has to, there's some parameters here. Like I'll be the judge of that if it's a fair question. But if you can stump Cassandra, I will give you a label barcode printer. Okay. So there's 2 barcode printers up for grabs. One will be a draw from all the questions asked, and then one if it's a really good question that stumps Cassandra, because I've never seen Cassandra stumped just yet, I think. So I want to see if we can do it this time.
All right, so I'm going to start going through the questions, and then as well, if there's anything you want to see demoed, I can pull inFlow up and run through anything as well. Another thing that could get you an entry is if you tell us other topics you would like to see in a future workshop. So if there's anything you'd like to see covered, let us know, and we'll count that as an entry to win as well. All right, so what we've got here.
And I'll also count an entry if you give us like a feature request. If there's something that you want to see inside of inFlow, we'd love that feedback. So let us know, and that'll be an entry too.
Okay, so from Kevin, we've got Do you recommend using sublocations for service trucks? Great question, Kevin. I would actually, instead of sublocations, I would recommend setting up the service trucks as their own location, probably. You could do sublocation as well, but if you do location, it's totally out of the warehouse, and that way you can see like what's left at the warehouse and what's at each location. It's kind of easier to filter by locations. So I would probably recommend setting up service trucks as an actual separate location. And I'm happy to talk about that further if you want to reach out to me. Michelle asked, we currently use sublocations. Is there a way to mark a sublocation as unavailable to pick, but listed in stock? So for example, if it's on hold, I think she means. So unfortunately, there's not a way to actually mark it as unavailable. What you could do is actually name the sublocation unavailable so that people can see they shouldn't be taking it, but the system wouldn't actually prevent them from taking it. Kevin said, we have our warehouse where all items are checked in, then we move items to a showroom or service trucks. Oh, yeah, so that's the same question. Okay, I think Alex wins something here. What is the max pixel dimensions on that image? I do not know that off the top of my head, so that's a winner for Alex.
All right. I don't know if that's like a super relevant one though, but okay. For now, Alex has the top question but that's
stumping me.
But that's very very specific. So I don't know. We'll have to go to the other judging panel for that one.
Alex also asked, can you add the attachments such as PDF from the product downloadable from the showroom? That's a great suggestion. We definitely will count that as a feature request. I've heard other people ask for that as well. For now, though, the showroom can't include attachments. If you want to kind of get around that, one thing you could do, Alex, is like you could put a link to an online storage drive, like your Google Drive or Dropbox, something like that. You could put a link in the remarks section, and then the remarks can show up on showroom, so they'd be able to download from there, but you can't directly link the file.
Helen was asking if there's a phone app for scanning. That would be good. Interestingly enough, the Android app, you can scan with it. It uses the Android phone scanner, but it's a little, I mean, it works, but it's not it's as fast as the camera is on the phone app. So it's okay. Interestingly enough, we're also looking at Android devices that have a scanner actually built in. Let me know in the chat if that's something you guys might be interested in. So we're thinking, we've actually got some samples and some prototypes. We're actually working to make the hardware. I'd love to know if you guys have any any questions or any feedback on an actual Android dedicated. It looks like a phone, but it's more ruggedized, and it has like a kind of a cool scanner built into it. Typically, these scanners sell for like $2,000, which I feel is out of the ballpark for most small businesses. We're looking to retail them anywhere, $300, $400 or so. So let me know if that's something that you might be interested in, and I'd be super curious to hear any feedback on it, and if you give me some feedback, we might even send you one to test it out as well, because we'd love to see them working in a warehouse too.
Yep, and just wanted to clarify, so the current Android app, it can scan to have you look up products, but it doesn't have the order functionality, so you can't pick with it just yet. We'll probably be adding that, so let us know if that's something you're interested in too. Lynn asked, are you developing any integrations for QuickBooks Desktop? We're not currently. From our understanding, Intuit is focusing more on their online product, so that's why we integrated with that. If we end up hearing from enough people that they really want to stick with desktop, it might be something we reconsider, but for now, we just have the QuickBooks Online integration. So Karen asked, is there a phone app for scanning? Yeah, so as we said, it can scan to look up your products. So it'll pull up the product record. It's only available for Android for now. And it's not able to do picking and things like that, Karen. Alex asked, under quotes, there is an add an attachment button. What's that for? it would be great to see that be a place you could attach a spec sheet or product photo, etc. Yeah, so basically it's just for your own internal records. You can kind of attach anything you want there. So sometimes, for example, on the purchase order screen, you could attach like a request for quote onto your purchase order, or any other documents. Maybe there's like landing documents you wanted to attach as part of receiving stuff. Anything that's helpful for you is just kind of to keep an internal record. Jay asked, under the BOM, is there any way you can figure out how many machines I can build up? Unfortunately, there isn't a way that it actually calculates how many you can do based on what you have in stock. What you can do is go into a work order screen, add the product, increase the quantity until you end up getting out of stock icons, and then just cancel it without saving it. It's a little manual, but it will get you the results. And that's something we might consider adding to a report. So we'll keep you posted on that, Jay.
So Horace was
Yeah.
was asking, can you kindly show me how the online showroom works? And yes, we can totally do that. In the meantime, I'll also see if I can answer. Alex was asking, can the payment terms field be increased from maximum 100 characters?
Whoa, I missed that.
And I said I would try to answer that, but I'm already stumped.
Payment terms. Oh, okay. That's a good question. I guess, so mainly it's meant to just have things like net 30, net 60 and stuff like that in it. Maybe let us know what you're looking to do with it, and we might be able to make something work from there.
So Alex is almost 2 for 2 for stumping us, which is interesting.
So still winning on that. Alex also says, love the showroom. So I've pulled up inFlow here. Let me know if you can't see my screen. Should be able to see it. It's a little small. Let me just maximize and see if this is any better.
Yeah, let us know if you can see. You should see inFlow on the screen in a few seconds.
So basically, Horace, you would just go into the main menu under Settings, Online Showroom here. Click that at the bottom. You have the option to turn it on at the top. And then you also have this little check mark for allow public access. So basically you can have a public showroom that you send to everyone, or anyone can get access to as long as they have the URL. And then you can also create private showrooms that you send to specific customers that might have their own private pricing. Like maybe you give them a special discount. You don't want other people to see that. You can send it to them. So basically here you just put any contact information that you want to show up in the showroom. You choose which products. You can have it be all products or specific products, whether you want to share the price on or off. If you are sharing the price and you have multiple pricing schemes, you would just pick which one. You have options if you want to hide your stock levels, if you want to show whether it's in stock or not, or you want to show exactly there's 50 in stock or however many you might have. So you got those choices, and then you also just have choices to turn on description, picture, measurements, or remarks, up to you. And then you can invite specific people here to private showrooms too if you want. And then basically inFlow is just going to update all of this stuff for you. So once you set up your settings, that's all there is to do. inFlow is going to, as you update your price in inFlow, your price would change in your showroom. Or as you run out of stock, that'll be reflected in your showroom as well. And I'm just going to pull it over. This is kind of what your showroom would look like. So this is mine. And these are different products I've got. If I click into one, whatever I've chosen to share will go there. So hope that helps with showroom. Let us know if you have any other questions about that.
Mara was asking,
Yep.
If a product already has its own barcode, can we use that same barcode instead of creating a new one? Yeah, so you can actually use absolutely, you can not only use the barcode that's on the existing product, but you can actually assign multiple barcodes to the same product. And the way you do that is just putting the barcode string of characters in the barcode field, and you can actually separate it by a space, or you can separate it with a comma. I think both of them work fine.
Yeah. What else do we have? Can you exclude items from the reorder point? that do not have a set reorder point. So we have a lot of items in the system that are available, but we only order on an as needed basis. So what I would suggest, Nicole, is just leave the reorder point for those items blank. That way inFlow won't recommend reordering them unless you actually have sales orders that need those items. And then on the report, you can also choose, make sure you're choosing, let me just bring it up here. Checking off at the top under options, only show products that you need to reorder, so you won't see ones that you don't need. Lynn asked, is it possible to pull a report of products by vendor? So you can do a vendor product list report. So under each vendor, it'll list off their items that you would get from them. Kevin would likely not use the Android device if a wireless scanner is available. So the thing about the Android scanner, Kevin, is that you might be able to actually have the screen where it's showing you what you need to pick. So you go pick it, you scan it with that Android device, and then like you're actually updating your orders in real time and seeing what you need to pick as you go, and maybe seeing new orders come in. So we're kind of thinking might do something along that line. So let us know if that might be interesting to you.
Alex is asking, when you're sending a quote via email, can you have inFlow CC an internal email address?
So you can, it's just that you can't set a default to CC. So what you could do is basically add your own internal address right on the vendor or the customer record. So basically on the email, you would just separate by comma. You can add multiple emails to a customer record. And if you have yours there, then it'll just do it going forward, or manually adding it as a CC to your internal email address so that you have a record of it. And then depending on how your email is set up, by default, it'll also show up in your sent folder. So you'll also, typically you will have a record of it unless your email provider set it up such that it doesn't go to your sent. But for most people, you'll actually see things sent through inFlow in your sent folder.
Shannon was asking if you can show an applied credit on a sales order.
So let's try to, let me just see if I have any customers that have a credit real quick. So basically how it'll end up looking is when I put my price in here. So you'll be able to choose to apply the credit. And then let's just see how that actually looks on if it shows. So it doesn't show as the credit actually being applied on the receipt or on the invoice. So one thing you could do, if you want to actually show that the credit was applied, you could add that as a line item and make it a negative value. So you could add it credit as a service type item. I'm just gonna call it that for now. And basically if you make the unit price negative, then it would decrease the balance. So you would end up sort of seeing that. Yeah, so it's not ideal, but that's a workaround that you could do for your customers.
You see, this is where the 12,000 tickets come in handy, because I would never have thought to do that. That's pretty cool.
Mariah asked, what is your favorite feature and what is the most useful feature of inFlow? Ooh, okay. There's so many, but currently my favorite feature is showroom.
Oh,
I think it's
mine.
pretty cool. I mean, it just automatically creates a product catalog. Like you hardly have to do anything. All the work you did to put your products in inFlow, you don't have to redo any of that, and you can just share that with customers. I think that's currently my favorite. The dashboard's pretty useful as well, and pretty handy. So you see, like, right at a glance, everything you need to take care of. You can tell this is a sample database because I have 96 sales orders that I need to handle.
You gotta get working.
But then there's also these toggles at the bottom that are cool that some people don't know about. So you can see products that are making you the most profit, like products that you sell the most. And you can basically just toggle these to get different really quick insights into like which customers are most profitable, and you should maybe spend time on them.
On a side note of that, so we have a lot of customers all around the world. One particular customer, if you guys are in the US, you've probably heard of Shark Tank. There's also, for example, Dragon's Den in Canada, and I think they have the series all around the world where like entrepreneurs, they go in, you talk to investors, and the investors may or may not, invest in the business. They basically give pitches. And what's interesting, a customer actually, they were using inFlow, and when they were pitching, a lot of it comes down to the details of profit, which are your top products and that sort of thing. And when we spoke with this customer after they were on Shark Tank, and I don't remember if they got a deal or not, to be honest, but after we spoke to them, they were saying that inFlow actually really helped because of the dashboard there. They were able to, like, when the investor asked a specific question, like, which product is number one and this and that, they were able to get the answers like right away. Or they knew the answers right away just because they had seen the dashboard and they were super familiar with the top 5 of whatever it was. So just as a cool little side tidbit on how that dashboard can actually have practical use case too.
Next, we have Nicole asking, will there be an Apple or Mac compatible option? So basically, Nicole, that's our web app that we're working on. So it's going to be a bit of a process to eventually build out having a lot of the features that are in the Windows app available in the web app so that you can kind of do the same thing from any kind of device. Any device that can access the web will be able to do those things in inFlow. If there's specific things you want to do from Mac devices, or like those are the most important things that you do on a day-to-day basis, let us know. Right now, the web app can allow you to look at your products and customers and edit those records. And the next thing we'll be working on is sales orders for web. So it'll eventually get there, but for now, that's where we're at. And then there was a second part to your question. Are you going to make the mobile app able to create purchase orders, sales orders, etc.? So eventually the mobile app, I think, will be getting sales orders first. And then we'd love to hear your feedback on if purchase orders from mobile is something you'd want to do. Kind of envisioning like sales orders would be maybe done on the road more often than purchase orders. But if you have a case where you would be doing purchase orders on the road, we'd want to hear that too. So all the feedback we get from you helps us know what direction we should be focusing on first.
Paola was asking, where can I download the app to the Android phone scanner? What is the name of the app?
So if you just search the Google Play Store for inFlow, I think it will just show up as inFlow Cloud on the Play Store. It's not a dedicated scanning app. It's basically going to be your inFlow app. It's going to have all the products that you have in your inFlow database. Once you log in, you'll see those. And there is a little barcode scanning button at the top where if you scan something, it'll pull up that product record. For now, it'll let you adjust stock in and out, but it can't do orders for now. So that's something we'll be adding in the future. And Helen asked about iPhone. We will be working on iPhone as well. So we're going to be putting out an iPhone app, and we'll let you know when that's available.
Kevin was asking, when you're importing data, if I have multiple suppliers with different part numbers, etc., but the item name is the same, how do I avoid updating the field and instead add a new entry?
So did you want those to show up in inFlow as separate parts, or is it just the vendor part that's different? So because inFlow has the option when you bring your part in, you can tell it that your vendor calls it something and you call it something else. So let me know if you want it to be a totally separate product. You will have to, as part of the import, if you're just trying to update it for a different vendor, specify the vendor and then specify the vendor part number and match it to the original. And you should end up getting that showing up on the product list.
Kevin was saying not separate parts, just want the vendor information for both suppliers to show up.
Okay, so yeah, you can end up getting multiple vendors showing up on this product vendors tab. And you can do it from import, but you would only be able to import one vendor at a time. So basically, okay, and he's saying it's overwriting it instead of adding it. Let me test that out and get back to you, Kevin. You should be able to, but I don't know if it will overwrite. It should add it to this tab, but what it might overwrite is this last vendor might get overwritten, but it should get appended onto this tab. That would be my guess. But yeah, we'll check into it and I'll get back to you.
Almost sounds like a stump. Sorry.
We can count that as a
stump
contender.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Kevin so we have Alex versus Kevin for the Stumping Cassandra giveaway. Michelle was asking, would it be possible for a sales order request to come in through the showroom? Haven't used it before.
We're hoping to add that, but currently no. Currently it's more like just an online catalog. And where you're not able to place orders. We would like it eventually to be a place where you can have your customers actually place orders and then they'll get downloaded into inFlow. So yeah, everyone who wants to see that, let us know. Kevin says he yields to Alex on stumping me. What else do we have?
Mara was asking, can you also add custom fields to the showroom?
So you cannot, unfortunately. If we hear from a lot of people that they're looking for that, I think we could add it in. For now, you can add remarks as one of the fields that you can add. Alex says hugs, bro, to Kevin. So right now, remarks is something you can add. So you could add a lot of information to that you might have in your custom fields, but you can't currently add custom fields. Again, any feature requests, send me an email so that I can make sure we're keeping on top of everything you're asking for and that we can let you know when we do adjust those things in the future.
And Michelle seconds that. They say it'd be amazing if it could be a function for the showroom.
Awesome. Yeah, we've got our last one here. On the online showroom pricing, is there a way to specify a price discount for each specific product or category? I have a customer resellers for my items, but I don't have a specific percentage for all products. I would need to specify product price discount for each item. So basically, what you do need to do is on your product page, you can have multiple pricing schemes set up. So for example, you might have like a wholesale price, retail price, whatever, or like a VIP customer price. When you send it to a customer, like a reseller, you just want to make sure you're setting the showroom to show the reseller price. So that's something that when you actually go in and invite someone specific, you can set up. So if I were going to go invite someone, I can choose, is this a customer in inFlow already? Yes or no. Put their email in, and then I basically just select which pricing scheme I want them to see. And then that's going to pull all my products, it's going to pull the wholesale price for them. So hopefully that answers your questions.
Cool. So actually, yeah. So I think that's it for the questions for now.
All right. So thanks everybody for joining. If we don't see any questions in the next little bit, we'll be signing off. But if you need anything after today, just email me at success@inflowinventory.com. I can send you resources, anything we talked about today, or you want to see demoed that you didn't get a chance to ask, let me know. And also let us know if you'd like to come to one of these again, what you'd like to see. if you got benefit out of coming today, any feedback you have for us on how we can make it better, we'd love to hear from you. All right, so thanks to everybody for joining then. We're going to let you go. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye for now.